We've had to recharge this thing 3 times in a day because Theis's mom, she is currently in a power outage just across town, and Pico said that the power is going to be back by 3 p.m. It's 9 p.m. and there's power transformers that are on the ground, so we don't think it's going to be that soon. And so we've been hauling electricity over there just to keep their fridges going. And this thing can run 2 refrigerators at the same time. It's working out really well. We're also going to bring over this little battery, this little anchor battery, because it's a lantern. We thought this would be good for them. So they can have light. And this has been running so much. We've taken about 3 kilowatt hours from it so far. And actually I guess we've taken 2, put 3 in. And this little thing, even whenever it's sitting in the back of the car, its fans are whirring a little bit, so it's got some heat in it. It's no longer charging, but the fan's still going. We're gonna let it sit a little bit longer, and then we're going to take it over. It's like we're looking into an abyss. There's lighting, and then nothing. And then you don't see any of the glare on the windshield at all. Neighbors got their generators going. Half the town's out, but then due to the wiring, some houses are on, because everybody's on a different circuit here, and this thing is still blowing. It's quite warm, and it's a hot day too, so. But thankfully, once the 2 compressors are running on the 2 refrigerators, it's only about 250 watts. That lamp is working great. With refrigerators and compressors, I've realized that you don't want to have them plugged in when you turn it on, because it ramps up the voltage slowly and the compressors can stall. And then it's already on. I'll turn on this one. It should go up to 1,000 watts and then go down. Oh gosh. That's hard to get in. Nice. Now the one in the basement. The main lights out here are the detour signs. And these are for other work that was already going on. Power over here. That's what it should look like. We're at the shop early. Rode one of my future videos that I'm working on. Really liking that scooter. Actually, I guess speaking of another future video. But it's time for me to get the solar panel system going, because what do you know? It's going to be several days. And tomorrow's going to be like 105 degrees. The weather is really weird out here right now. That gust of wind, it'd be fine if it was normal, but we have a lot of old trees that are very dead. And so trees are just falling down everywhere from that absurdly fast gust. Well, last night I had the foresight to plug this in. So I'm just going to plug every single brand. We got Redodo Power. Still has the debris on it from when my building dreams fell apart. It usually gives around 2,300 watt hours from my tests. And we were using the watt cycle, 12 volt, 20 amp charger. So I'm kind of lucky in the way that this aligns up with my schedule a little bit, because a few weeks ago I was so busy running around fixing plumbing issues, doing things for people. And this week, I don't really know what I'm doing except for fixing a wood chipper and a few weed whackers for people. So it's kind of the week for organizing things. So I don't mind digging all this stuff out. Got the battery card out. I'm even thinking maybe I'll put the batteries up on this steel table. You know, my flammable chemicals cart. Oh, so very smart. And let's see about getting some power in from the solar panels, because this little charger only charges a little bit less than the fridges use power. So I really need to step up my charging game. I am now going to bring in the Lifetime 3000 watt inverter that they recently sent me, and we can couple it with that. And that should be pretty good compared to the OUPES Mega 1, because that will be 2.5 kilowatt hours, about 2.5 times what the Mega 1 has. I got this out of storage. We're using it in the building, but took it out for doing the roof. I'm going to put this underneath the solar panels, and that will help keep the workshop cool. We have one panel that's down here, but thankfully the other 3 are up on the roof, because Joe said, hey, you can just put them on my air conditioner rack. So they're already up there. I got the cable run, just put it through the skylight, and I realized that the skylight was sticking to the tar, so it might not be super easy to open in the future, especially after summer. So I might not be opening the skylight very much in the end. Well, let's get the stuff up there. Now, unfortunately, it appears that I scrapped the cables that I had used. So I had to get some brand new cables that were going to be scrapped. I'm glad I didn't scrap those too. And guys, this heat's kind of getting me. But, you know, I'm really weak to heat, so that's not saying much. It's currently 76 degrees in here. It's, then again, I was just on the roof. Well, I have these wires coming up from the skylight, just sitting through there. And we can hook them into here, the big power shut off, and then clean off this table. So that's 2 panels. I dare say the back of the workshop will be nice and cool with this. Let's see. Let's boot it up. Oh. Okay, 106 watts. Let's make sure the second panel is connected properly, and because the connections are a little iffy. And let's hook up the other 2 panels and get up to 400 watts. I totally forgot how I had this wired up, but I got it figured out. I forgot that I had 2 strands of wire and one panel pair go on one wire and the other panel pair go on the other wire. That way I don't need to use a 4-way Vago connector. I can just use a 3-way and 2 2-ways. Okay, and I also got my strap back. Let's check the power. Should be at least 250 watts now. 248 watts. That's pretty good. That'll get up to about 400 watts later on. We'll get this thing charged up. The Grunner Power battery, which I'm not even sure if they make this anymore, because when I last checked, it wasn't even online. Now, let's take the other batteries to your mom's house and get their fridges running. Okay. Oh, this is gonna suck to get that in there. It's running. So, since it's gonna be like 105 degrees, we're just doing the basement fridge. We're not doing the upstairs kitchen fridge anymore, so everything's moving down into here. And it's gonna be way too hot over the next few days. This is a weird circumstance. High wind, high heat, kind of makes sense though. Big storms coming in. I have some good news. It looks like this one refrigerator will probably last about 24 hours.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Let's do one a day. Thank you very much for Dodo Power for sending this, and thank you Lifetime for sending the inverter. The inverter's pretty nice. Now everything's in the basement. And unfortunately, they're going to have to basically evacuate the house because it's just going to get so hot. And they won't be able to have fans or anything. But this will keep this thing ready for at least 23 hours. So their food, they just stocked up too. That's the worst part. They just stocked up for the month. And yeah, then this happened. So the basement will be coolest. It's using only 90 watts. When it kicks off, it'll use less, so we might get away with quite a bit. But if my solar panel system works out pretty well, and if that Grenner Power battery ends up being pretty full already, I can bring the second battery down here and have 48 hours. Well guys, I got some good news. I left this one fully charged, it seems. So just my using a little bit, it got up to 14.59 volts. So I'm charging the other one, but it looks like that one's charged too. So we can bring these over and just hook them up. This one, the Tezzy Power one, is not charged. We have the Okemo battery, that's fully charged. The Grenner Power battery, that's fully charged. I remember now that once I had the roof issues, I had one last few days where I kept the panels on the roof and I charged up as many batteries as I could. So that makes sense. Hey, we're at 335 watts. It's like what? Basically the whole day to charge, but not too bad. I came home and I just had to take a shower because I needed to get that temperature refresh, and now I'm a lot cooler. It also helps that we have a nice little SEER rating of 15 air conditioner. A lot of air conditioners you find, they have an efficiency rating of 11 or 12, but they sell ones, they're in the back of the shelves at the big box stores, but they sell them with their efficiency rating of 15, and they're great. Recently had to clean this one out. Well, I figure since we're just doing a video about everything, I'm gonna be charging this up. I've been charging this up in the window off my little 30-watt solar panel. I have a 50-watt panel for this. Gonna be making a stainless steel thing to hold it in the window. The landlords have never had any issue with it, so I think the 30-watt panel might be going on top of that, and then the 50-watt panel will be going here. So I'll have 80 watts. Might be getting enough out of one day to run this for an hour and a half, which is kind of cool. But most likely I'll be running the computer off of it. This little All Powers R600, it holds only 300 watt hours, so that's not a whole lot of power, but it charges really efficiently. So it only uses 1 watt of power when connected up to a panel. So you can have it charging up a really tiny panel and it still efficiently uses that power. So right now it's charging with 21 watts. 1 watt or so is being wasted as the inefficiency, and then 20 watts is being put into the battery. And so 300 divided by 20 would be 15 hours of this to fully charge it. So that's not too bad. I had some issue with that battery before because the power connections failed, but I had filmed a whole video. It effectively, it boiled down to, when I'd first taken it apart for the video, I stressed one of the connectors, and so I had to bend the pins a little bit harder so they sprung and connected a little bit harder. That was specifically an issue of me taking it apart the first time for the review video, but it seems like it's working fine, and I've been using it to run our TV and sound system. So usually I'll get an entire day of power on the TV when I use it as our secondary monitor when we watch stuff on my computer. I would like to get this thing to be solar powered, but this would require probably 200 watt solar panels in order to make enough power to run it in a day. But if I'm busy every day, I don't use it, so it uses no power. How efficient is that? So that's pretty cool. I have been too busy to do much on the computer though, unfortunately. Back at the shop, this thing's doing 425 watts. If we just imagine that it has basically 5 hours of full power at that, that's about 2 kilowatt hours. Not too bad. New weather forecast just in. 90 degrees, 97 degrees, 101 degrees, 102 degrees, 99 degrees. Damn. Now that is what I call a heat wave. So these finally get to be cleaned, at least mostly. That roof did a number on all my stuff. So now enters the OUPES 12 volt 200 amp hour battery, which happens to be my personal favorite. And then we have the Grunner power battery. And we're bringing in my favorite inverter, my Vertimax Windy Nation 1500 watt power supply, pure sine wave inverter. I find this one to be a very trustworthy inverter. We may have that in the basement running the refrigerator, and have the big Lifetime inverter running the air conditioner upstairs so they can sleep better. Because now we've decided they deserve to sleep well, because it's going to be really hot. So 2 of the batteries are going to be going towards running the air conditioner. Coming down here, it was off, and it just kicked on now. We're at 13.0 volts. Honestly, that should be okay. No, don't be afraid. It's going to spark really bad.
Yep.
I need to make a cutoff switch thing, but I can do that with it. So one thing oh man, I'm dripping sweat onto everything. Is that the block party over here?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little insufferable that we're out of power and like down the street they're having like a big fucking
Yeah, it kind of sucks, you know, like
it's kind of insulting.
It's across the street even.
You want to point your camera at me?
Yeah, like
it's kind of like the epitome of the American situation where we're over here struggling to keep our food fine, and over there they're getting drunk across the street. I don't know. It just kind of pisses me off a little bit. So we decided that we would have the Windy Nation inverter in the basement, and since we don't really necessarily the refrigerator is cold, so we can just turn it on in the morning because the battery's getting a little bit low. It'd probably go out around like 4 a.m. and air conditioners are a real pain to run, but refrigerators, those you only need to run like 12 hours a day, and they're good. Is it like graduation parties or something?
I think so.
Yeah. What a weird ass week. What a weird week. We get the biggest gusts, half the town's out of power, half the town's partying. Yeah. Getting super high heat. I don't know, like we're simultaneously in an area where the power is out in some spots, but then also you can't find parking. I don't know what's going on. So it's yet another day, and you know, the people that it's hardest on, look at the workers, they're having to sleep. You know, they probably haven't actually been home. They probably haven't been home in 2 days. They're out here having to sleep. That's rough. That's rough. Brought this battery in, just turned it on. 150 watts. It's a really cloudy day, but maybe we'll get some more power back. That one had a good 30% of the battery left in it though. I like this OUPES battery, and I'm glad this one at least was spared from the carnage of the workshop. Oh my god, we just discovered this Redoda power battery. I guess this thing got to a certain point, especially with it being packed full of food. Not super packed, it's still kind of efficient, but being packed full of food that it froze everything. This thing's still at 13 volts, which according to the Vertimax thing, so it's probably like 12.8 volts, but still, that's amazing. Well, we're going to swap in the fully charged Tezzy power battery just to have more time, but the guys might be working on the power lines in this area, so
yeah, they're already like a block away or so.
We'll probably let this run for a day. Yeah.
Transformer, yeah.
Probably let this thing run for a bit in case the power goes out again.
Yes.
Because for other places around here, it goes on and off. And again, today there's all these big winds and more branches are coming down. So this is good reliability. We've brought everything we have. It's like, if we had to buy all this stuff, it'd be like $4,000.
Easily.
$4,000 or $5,000 and stuff.
Easily. Might be fine.
Yeah.
I don't see an error on it.
And we're back with power.
Yep. Oh.
You're going through the people.
I do this.
I mean, people do break into houses whenever the whole town is out of power.
So I gotta do my due diligence.
I like how strong you are, lady. And this is at a pretty good voltage. We're just gonna leave that. Yeah. But we are tired. Really, really tired. This is like having a wrench thrown in your face during a marathon. You know, the sentence you just said was right. All the ordeals are dealt with. So, I feel like we brought the power grid to them. We carted like 10 kilowatt hours of power or whatever it was. Because there's batteries that we didn't even film. The same thing, we take multiple times. And we busted our ass. You gave yourself a bit of a sickle cell crisis.
I'm still in the middle of it.
You actually are in pain right now because this ordeal, and I'm exhausted. The workshop was a mess. Outside of the intervention, I'm kind of like, oh, shit, I wish I could have gotten maybe like, I don't know, like a graphics card or something with all this stuff that we did. But no. That's just in my head where I'm like, okay,
we were disaster response in like 2 different ways.
We were disaster response in 2 different ways. Whenever we were taking the family member home, I saw this on the side of the road, and I was like, hey, I don't care about what freaking important mood we're in. I want to grab this. It's a Boy Scouts pack frame. That's kind of cool. It's just on the side of the road. I was so angry and worn out during this whole ordeal. Not really angry, but I was just so worn out that I even put this thing together.
Ooh, let's see.
Yeah.
Hey.
42 degrees. I think that's perfect. I'm going to take one home. I'm going to set it down to 3.
You know what? I'm going to take one of these home.
Yeah.
I bet I'm not even going to drink it.
A little road soda.
Only not on the... To consume on the road.
Yeah. Well, the workshop is a fucking mess. But we saved all the food. We're making the effort to save all the food. Not because... I know there was some relief. She did stock up on some fancy food. The food was probably worth $1,000 from the 2 fridges combined. But it's that feeling of if all your food gets destroyed and that being out of your hands, that does something to somebody. That's why people that lived through the Great Depression hoarded things. And we don't want a family member to have to go through that. This isn't just, oh, we're over here to save the pastries. We're not over here to save the salmon. We're here to keep the power grid running. So you still have refrigeration, so you still have food.
I don't know why I grabbed this. Let's be real. I can't drink this.
No.
It's aspirational.
Well, we grabbed it. I'm not even going to drink this, but we want. It feels nice to come to the shop, grab something, and go home. I can't. Yeah, you already are sick. But it feels good to come to the shop. This CK monitor top is I think it's the CK, is a nice little distraction, and we got it together. Got some space cleared in the shop, and it's just, this brings me comfort. And we're going to end it there. We're going to take our drinks home and put them in the refrigerator at home. And, well, guys, I hope you can relate to little mini natural disasters, localized events, stressing families, and having to, well, I hope that when you have to deal with this in the future, you have the tools to help any sort of disaster that unfolds, whether it be science-based or social-based. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.